welcome back to Steve Robb Reviews. Today's video is going to be all about, well, it's going to be a shop tour. I'm going to give you a little bit of a spin around my whole shop. My shop is 14 by 24. It's jam-packed with stuff, and the only way I'd be able to get all this stuff in here, well, is to be kind of organized. So I'm going to start off on the far wall here. We're going to go all the way around the shop, and hopefully you can pick up some tips on some things that I have done that maybe you can incorporate yourself into your shop. And that's a good part about YouTube, is we share what we do. And today is going to be sharing, you know, all the different stuff that I have in this shop, how it's placed, and why it's there. So let's get started right now. Well, let's get started right here. Yeah, I got lots of stuff hanging on the ceiling, sanding belts. I got welding electrodes, handles, toilet paper dispenser. You got to have one of them, right? And over here I've got my pneumatic rivet, heat gun, undercoating gun. And up here on the ceiling I got some twine. You always need some twine, right? Up in the top there on a hook is a fan, so when I'm doing some welding I can blow the smoke right out of the whole shop, right? So that's the whole idea there. So we'll start off at this corner here, and that's right in front of my work table, and that's just the pegboard with all my stuff on. And as we get over here you can see all my rolls of tape, and you know, and as I go along the bottom here, yeah, I've got a set of drawers there. I got my my bandsaw down there and the blades, my garbage can nice and handy, and this is full of storage here, storage, you know. And on my workbench here, got a little cupboard, some sandpaper, some tape measures, you know, all the stuff you got to have, right? And over top my workbench, sometimes I'll come in here for maybe a small little quick job, and I can just turn this electric heater on, and it just glows the whole area nice and warm in the wintertime for me, so I don't have to put on the other heaters. And that's pretty much it there. And I got some stuff stuck on the walls like you could see there, and my radio, and my little bit of a drill press. And for all the stuff that I've done over the years, that little drill press is all I need. And you know, I could just spend hours just talking about all the stuff that's here. But and then now we get down the bottom here, and you can see that's my compressor that runs the whole shop. And I got this line that's only for when I'm working in this end of the shop. I put a shut-off valve there, and you can see out of the other outlet I got another shut-off valve there, and that goes all the way around, all the way to the back to the other side of the garage to feed the other side of the garage with air that I use usually for outside in the driveway. So this is the compressor that I use for everything. And yeah, that's a mouse trap down there. I always keep a mouse trap in here because you never know. You get a mouse in here and you'll never know it until the spring. But yeah, that compressor does everything. And I just got the hose wound up on here. Very easy to do. And the reason why I put the valve there is so that when I shut the compressor off, well, I can turn the valve off, release all the air, so the air is not all, you know, charged up in the line the whole time. It's no good to leave your air lines full of air all the time. Okay, so then we get over here. Yeah, this is a, I'll just open this for a second here. This is for my welding outlet. This is 50 amps. And that's there, and a little bit of some pegboard with some stuff on right there. And that's where I have my fuse panel in there. And of course, some more pegboard and stuff hanging off of this side, right? And then I get down to my welders, and this is my TIG welder, and then I got my my MIG welder and my plasma cutter, and everything in this shop is on wheels. There's nothing in this shop that's not on wheels except my my chop saw table. So this is my little hoist that I like to use all the time, and there's my little vacuum cleaner, and I got it plugged in there. And up here on the ceiling I got some more stuff, and there's my shop heater. So I use that shop heater, I would say 80% of the time, and the only time I put my diesel fired heater on is just to get the shop heated up, and then I switch over to the electric. So let's go over to the other side of the shop here, and we'll go along the wall where my my woodworking area is, and we'll take a look at that. Okay, so this is where my woodworking area starts, right here at my chop saw, and I've also incorporated my little bit of an arbor press in here as well. And it's always good to have your pencils on a magnet, so you can have them handy. And of course, got to keep your hearing protection right next to the saw, so you don't get lazy enough not to use it. And that's pretty much it there, with all my stuff in the background hanging up. And if you wonder why it's so bright in here, I've got these lights here, and they are terrific. They're energy saving, plus they really pump out a lot of light. And in the back here, I'll just show you, this is where I store, my jack, and some other tools that I've made. And that's pretty much it right there. And plus, you got to have some stuff hanging off the ceiling, right? So, I mean, that's an LED light. And this is my doorway coming into the shop. And, that was all redone last year. This is my table saw. And the one thing I will say is this saw is over 30 years old, and it's not all beat up like some saws you see with a rusty table and everything. The only thing I put on here is penetrant, and there's all kinds of different penetrants that you want to use out there, but for myself, I like to go with the PB Blaster. I just put it on a rag and wipe it all down, because when I heat up the shop in here all the time, hot and cold, it'll condensate on the top and it'll just rust your table right to pieces. So we take a look in behind here. Yeah, I got a bunch of junk stored in here, all kinds of pieces of steel and everything. And then we get further down there. That's my oxyacetylene. So now we're going to go on to the area where's my welding. That's my oxyacetylene. And then right in there, there's a cherry picker. And I retrofitted that with an extension boom on, so you could take the pickup truck boxes off. So like I took the 8-foot box off my Silverado to replace the fuel pump a long time ago, and it was terrific to do that with. So now just going to back up a bit here. Yeah, that's where I store my leaf blower, and this is where you got to have lots of pegboard to store all your stuff. And this here is my rack that I made for all my different grinders that I could just hang on there. The cords all hang nice and neat so that they're not all twisted up all the time. And then I can just plug it into my outlet there. This is my grinder, and you always got to have a little container with some water. And this is my welding table. And I got a nice light over top of it as well. Now this is my vacuum. So I've got a suction on this that goes right to the outside. So there's one of my new gas containers I made, the nozzle there. That was a good video there showing all that, how that's all done. And there's the jack handle. Got lots of storage in here. And there's my second jack stuffed underneath there. And I'll just show you here the plumbing that goes from here all the way to the outside. It goes through the wall outside, then it goes to a 90, and I put a screen on the bottom so nothing could get inside. And that's pretty much it for that. And all I've got pushing the air is, well, I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's wired right there, and it's one of them duct blowers, so it sucks the air up and blows it through the whole system. And at the opposite end, where the 90-degree elbow is, right there, I have another one. So it takes the air that's inside the stack and brings it outside. So now I'll move over to this side of the shop, and that's just my garage door on the back side. And I got an old kid's sleeping bag from like 30 years ago that I put as a draft stop on the bottom to keep all the draft out. And this is my diesel heater, and I only turn that on for 10 minutes max when it's like minus 10 degrees outside Celsius. Minus 10 outside. I put this on for 10 minutes and it increases the temperature of my shop up to about 75 degrees. I turn it off and then I go with the electric. So now we're over on this side here, and of course lots of pegboard. This is my airline, so I go out in the garage. And this is a couple of extension cords, and we've got some belts up there. You got to have all kinds of stuff, right? And then this is my, let me just take a look here. This is my little bit of a cabinet I made years and years ago. So I store some stuff in here. And this here is just for nuts and bolts and washers and you name it. You know, that's the whole idea behind this, is you gotta pretty much have a hardware store inside of your shop, right? To have all your nuts and bolts to be able to do stuff. Okay, so I'll get rearranged here and then we'll finish it off. Okay, so we're over on the last wall here, and I'll just pan up into the ceiling here. Yeah, a lot of stuff from brake lines, empty tote box for carrying your tools, all kinds of stuff on the ceiling here, all my wire, and all my wire loom. And this here is a tool I made to hold your brake or your gas pedal down to a certain position, so lock it in there for you. And there's a breaker bar. That's a huge breaker bar. And here we go with my suction for doing oil changes, and a little bit of a magnetic pan on the side, magnetic pan here. And if you notice, I got a ratchet strap going all the way around. Well, first time I bought this toolbox and I put all my tools in, well, I'll tell you what happened. I opened up too many drawers on the top side. The box started to come over on me. Luckily I was standing right there when it happened so I could push it back. But no, that's a good safety tip there, is to have that on there. Okay, so then we got over to all the other stuff on the walls here. And I mean, you can never have enough grinder discs. And there's the outlet here that powers the, there's a yellow one there that powers my diesel heater. I only plug that in when I'm going to use it, because you never know, you know, somebody comes in and touches that switch or moves the switch on the heater, it'll burn your shop right down in 10 minutes easy, you know, if it's pointed in the wrong direction at something. So here is my little bit of a kneeling pad, and that's just actually just a magnet here that holds that on. And that's a little bit of a rolling cart I made. Well, I didn't make it, I just put it together, and I just made the top on top, because, you know, without this top, well, it's just like this, right? And I didn't like that, so I made a wooden top for it. And then we get over here, and that's where, you notice everything's on wheels, and that's my little recharge station here. And now, if you're wondering how they're staying in there, I just used regular PEX, half-inch PEX pipe, and then just stick them in there like that. And if you take a look, maybe you can't see, I'm going to have to pull this out. Yeah, you can see how they just come all the way down to the board. Yeah, so, you know, they're not just sitting there on nothing. So, and I got everything all hooked up. I did a video on this already on my charging station. So over here is where I've got all my clamps, my wood clamps and everything. And lots of zip ties. I mean, the amount of stuff I have in here, if you tried to, you know, not be organized, well, you're not going to get too far, right? So that's pretty much all of it right there. Well, I hope you like this little bit of a shop tour, and hopefully you can pick up some tips on, some storage things that maybe you could implement into your shop as well. Some ideas on, organizing everything and having everything on wheels, because it's so much easier just to pull everything out and just clean many times. And, the pegboard on the walls, well, it's a lot better than digging through a bunch of toolboxes, right? So I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a shop tour. And come back again. If you haven't seen this channel before, well, you're welcome to subscribe and see some more unique things in the future. And I do have a lot of things planned, and hopefully you like them too. Cheers.